Hey, everybody, I'm Zach.
I'm Jesse.
And you're watching the Patreon bonus stories.
And you are our wonderful Patreons.
certainly
So
are.
welcome.
Because, I don't know if you've seen... They haven't seen In Depth.
They haven't seen In Depth.
Unless it's tomorrow. If it's tomorrow, you've seen it.
You might have seen it, but you've had to watch it.
Right.
It's complicated. All right. The first thing
But
is...
what I'm trying to get at, though,
Yeah.
is if you've seen that, you saw that Jesse and I went through a rough patch. We had to stay up till 3 in the morning to watch Elon. And then we were excited. And then the next day we were depressed.
I'm telling you, I've never gone from such a high to such a low
So quickly.
It was like, because I don't know, just being in traffic and just having to deal with people, and you're just like, you all.
But there's a lot of good ones. They're out there.
I know. It's nice to have humanity filtered a little bit.
Let's start off with a fun story.
Yeah.
So this is a BMW i3 drifting.
So this is rally legend Rauno Aaltonen, and he's drifting around in the BMW i3, and he loves it.
Hey, take it away.
Yep.
The i3 is a highly interesting vehicle. Once you understand it, it's a great fun. And it feels like you would be in a car with 1,000 horsepower.
I didn't expect that the i3 can be driven in drift so beautifully. But I knew, of course, that the electric motor has a maximum torque at 0 revs. And this is vital to control the car in drift.
Come on, one more time.
To drift the i3, it's just easy, nice. I love it.
The BMW i3. Your adventure awaits.
First of all,
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could do that in an i3, A. B, I thought you'd have to change the tires. Mm-hmm. You thought you could do it, those tires? You guys might not know the i3 that well if you don't drive one.
Yeah.
The tires are, what, that wide?
Yeah, they're really, you can just reach around and pinch them like
They're
a bike
like little
tire.
toy tires.
Yes.
And that they do that to cut down on rolling resistance.
Right. I honestly thought that you needed to have your car to drift like this, because I think that you really need to shift the weight of the car around. And the i3 really feels like it's a paperweight kind of car, because it's all carbon fiber and everything.
I just enjoyed seeing him enjoy himself.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yep.
So this one is, we're going to call this Protecting the Crown Jewels. So Texas is going to seek to spend at least $12 billion for a full coastal spine, they're calling it, which is a protecting breakwaters and stuff.
And this is to protect humans, right? Human life, people,
Nope.
cities.
Nope.
Towns.
Nope.
Villages.
Nope.
Houses.
Nope.
Tents.
Nope.
Shanty villages.
Guess what they're protecting? You guessed it, folks. Oil and gas refineries. Yes. So basically, here's the thing. There's hurricanes, right? And a lot of these oil and gas refineries are on the coast down in Texas. And so
they can ship the stuff out. And
up.
get the stuff in.
Right. And so that means that they're very vulnerable to storms and storm surges and stuff. So they're going to build this $12 billion of walls, not to protect cities, as you pointed out, just to protect the oil refineries. And the thing is, there's all these congressmen and senators who normally are very like, I'm not going to spend a penny. We have to cut taxes, and we have
Save the
financially,
taxpayers'
fiscally
money.
conservative.
Right.
On this one, we get quotes from Ted Cruz, for instance, a very conservative Republican, who's like, it's a tremendous step forward.
Right. Spending $12 billion of taxpayer money to basically just protect a single industry.
Yeah. So we got the Sierra Club's executive committee member in Houston, Brant Manchin. He says the oil and gas industry is getting a free ride. You don't hear the industry making a peep about paying any of this, and why should they? There's all this push like, please, Senator Cronin, please, Senator Cruz, we need money for this and that. And the federal government will pay for it. Right. Again, we talk about subsidies to the oil and gas industry. Here you go, folks. $12 billion.
$12 billion.
They're not protecting a solar plant. They're not protecting the Tesla
They're
factory.
not protecting people's lives.
No, they're protecting oil and gas.
Oil, just so they can keep making money even after the hurricane that they caused by burning the oil that they drilled out of the ground.
Exactly. So now this is BBC, and let's just show the footage here.
So the autopilot system is on. Let's see what happens. And automatically in standing traffic we've come to a halt. It's worked.
I think there's a problem with vehicle manufacturers trying to introduce technology and the consumer not being ready for it, not being sure, is it automated, do I have to keep watching? We want it very clear. You are driving, assistance, or you're not driving, automated.
Might look a little familiar, right? So we just saw that they showed that problem that the Tesla has, that when a car in front of you changes lanes suddenly and there's a car parked there,
right,
you might hit the back of them. Yes, first of all, Teslas you can modify the software, which they're working on as we speak.
Yep.
Version 9 is going to come out. But here's the thing. This is FUD, folks. This is what FUD looks like. You hear BBC and you think, oh, that's a very reputable news source. And then you see this FUD. Well, the reason I'm calling it FUD is they're not saying this is a negative, but here's the full picture. Here's the big story. Because, well, here's what the full story looks like. Let's just be playing this in the background.
Yep.
See, what you're seeing here are a bunch of Tesla dash cams showing accidents that didn't happen, to the Teslas at least, because the autopilot system was watching out for them.
Right.
So if the BBC had said, here's a slight problem that Tesla has, but on the flip side, they're so much safer than other cars, that's the safest cars on the road, blah, 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 then I would say, okay, that's balanced reporting.
Right. And I mean, the point here is that, you don't want the consumer to become complacent. So I think that the call should be, if you have this system, don't think that it's perfect, because it's not. That is super helpful, might save actually some lives.
Right.
Instead, saying we shouldn't do this because the consumer is an idiot is like, okay, that's like saying, that's like if you didn't educate someone. It's like if you didn't teach anyone about forest fires and then were surprised when there were forest fires. And you said, well, we're going to ban all fire. All forms of fire are now going to be banned because it could lead to forest fires. Instead of educating people.
But here's the thing with Teslas. Even if there are edge cases of people who don't drive it correctly, which there are,
right,
there's more people saved by autopilot than the few that don't do it correctly and might smash into something.
Right. If you're going 60 miles an hour on the highway and someone changes lanes and there's a car parked there, you do not have a lot of time to react.
Right.
The car, you need to slam on the brakes and you need to hope that the car functions properly.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether you're in autopilot or whether you're driving any car. That is one of the most dangerous situations on the road.
Right.
The Tesla did slow down. You can see it in the footage. The front end dips quite a lot. Still hits the car, but still, if you couldn't see through the car, which you couldn't, you'd be in trouble. Also, I want to point out, I am not sure that car barrier is going to be picked up by the radar in the same way that a real car would.
Good point.
If you have a big foam thing doesn't do any damage,
they might
to
have
the car,
designed the radar to not react to foam.
Oh, don't slam on your brakes, endangering the drivers behind you if you're going to hit a big marshmallow.
Exactly. We just don't know. Exactly.
We don't know. And so to do this kind of test is a little bit misleading.
Yeah. All right, so here's a story that, again, has reared its head. It's not something we look forward to reporting on, but I feel like we should give you our perspective on it because the mass media is not. So this is Musk attacking the cave diver for the third time.
Again, not a diver. This guy is a cave explorer.
True.
Who lives in Thailand. So
for half the year.
Yeah.
And England for the other half of the year. So here's the story here. Basically, BuzzFeed asked for comments from Elon. I guess there was an exchange of emails. And in one of the emails, Elon put at the top of the email...
off the record.
Off the record. And normally when you talk to a reporter, You say, can I talk to you off the record? And if they say yes, then you can continue off the record if they have any journalistic integrity. In this case, Elon did not follow that. He said, this is off the record, and then proceeded to write the email. Not smart, because you didn't get a reaction. So Elon wrote this thinking this was going to be off the record, and he said, quote, I suggest that you call people you know in Thailand, find out what's actually going on, and stop defending child rapists.
Yeah.
First of all, I wouldn't call a reporter that if I wanted him to report what I said accurately, but whatever. Quote, he's an old single white guy from England who's been traveling to or living in Thailand for 30 or 40 years, mostly Pattaya Beach, until moving to Chiang Rai for a child bride who was about 12 years old at the time. As for this alleged threat of a lawsuit, which magically appeared when I raised the issue, nothing was sent or raised beforehand. I hope he sues me, he added. That's the context that this is from. Elon firmly believes that this guy is a pedophile. And it all started because this guy just started disparagingly commenting to the media how Elon had no clue what he was doing, how he botched everything up, was getting in people's ways, no one wanted him there. And then Elon proceeded to show this reporter that he's got a letter from the Prime Minister of Thailand saying that he thanked him for going and thanked him for designing this thing. So anyway, I think this feeds into Elon wants to be appreciated. He wants to show people that he's doing his best. And to have someone who is there say that say kind of the opposite really stung Elon, especially when this guy doesn't seem to be reputable to Elon. I'm not going to say that I know any facts myself. I've got to believe that Elon wouldn't be saying these things unless he had it on good authority.
Right. We know that when he was there, he was talking with a lot of the people who were from there. Did he hear things? Maybe. We don't know. So I think that that's where he's getting a lot of this is like, I think that he kind of knew some people know what Thailand is known for. And, going into it with that and then probably talking to people, Elon talks about how the guy was basically kicked out of the cave expedition area, like, please leave. So, it was not that Elon was asked to leave, it was that this guy was asked to leave. Again, making him seem less reputable. And again, this is the only guy in the entire saga of this thing who was there, right? Who said that the mini sub was a bad idea.
Right. I also want to point out another layer to this, which is that Elon has said, go ahead and sue me, right?
Right.
If you're a billionaire, you have unlimited cash at your disposal for lawyers. It's going to be pretty hard to beat you at any lawsuit because money in our legal system does have a big effect. And I think what Elon is also doing here is letting everyone in the world know, come at me and I'm going to come right back. I'm not going to settle. Tesla doesn't typically settle lawsuits. They typically go all the way, which makes no financial sense because usually it's much cheaper to just settle a lawsuit and be like, okay, $80,000, done.
Right.
They'll go millions of dollars in just to prove a point.
Right.
And I think this is another way of Elon saying, anyone who's even thinking about coming at me legally for anything, Tesla related,
Right.
SpaceX related, I'm going to go to the mat.
And I think especially in this case, he personally believes this. And I mean, I'm not going to speak to whether or not he should believe that. I have to kind of respect him for being like, I hope this guy sues me, and for being mad. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad that he has true emotions. It would suck if he were a Mark Zuckerberg kind of robot where he's just like, okay,
Yeah.
that's whatever.
Right. I only care about the bottom line.
Right.
Right.
I'm glad that he has a very strong moral compass.
I agree.
I value that. I know that it might not always lead to the best Tesla stock price, but I mean, do I care about the Tesla stock price? I'm only going to sell it once,
Right.
And that's when I'm going to buy my ticket to Mars, right? Everyone's always like, oh, if he would just shut up about it, and then the Tesla stock price would be better. It's like they will find other crap.
Yeah.
They clearly they don't dig very deep.
No.
They haven't dug
Well,
yet.
and that's another point. Did BuzzFeed send off reporters to Thailand to look into this? No. What they said was, we looked into publicly
public
released
records
right
in Thailand.
So I just there's not going to be a public because this is known in Thailand. Do your research. We did, and it turns out that basically they're like, please come take our children and be brides. Like that's a thing here, for whatever reason. So there's no legal case against the guy,
in Thailand.
So, but like, go send some reporters there, ask around. You probably get a different story. All I'm saying, that's what reporters do,
and that's what he's asking.
They don't
for.
just reprint what a guy sent in an email.
Public records from Thailand.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I mean, what's wrong with... Are there any journalists out there in our Patreon land?
Seriously.
Like, do you just take what someone says and just reprint it? That's called a press release. That's called just being like...
We read a lot of press release news articles.
And you don't just reprint them. You actually do due diligence and you dig deeper and you get other opinions and experts and stories and you give the whole picture if you can.
We do not have the cash to go fly over to Thailand and to go interview this.
Nor do we want to.
If you live in Thailand and you want to do that, just ask, I don't know, ask around. Let us know. Maybe we can know. I don't know. Let's just, I don't know. It is worth investigating, isn't it?
And speaking of investigations, let's look at this story.
Yeah.
This could be much bigger than Dieselgate. And I want to let that sink in for a second because Dieselgate is huge. It almost put a company out of business, VW, and it cost them billions of dollars. So this story, let's just watch this.
They are some of the world's most recognized car brands. Giants of German industry now accused of running an illegal cartel. The political backlash has begun.
Es kann nicht sein, dass wir...
It can be that in the end, consumers are the ones who have to bear the consequences. It can be that in Germany, jobs are put at risk. That's why we need a whole new start for the car industry and a new start for government policy. The government must stop protecting the car industry.
Die Autoindustrie, es braucht einen echten Neustart.
German magazine Der Spiegel claims the car makers held secret meetings in the 1990s, colluding on technology, components and suppliers, including allegedly agreeing to use a cheaper version of a system designed to minimise emissions in diesel engines.
The German auto industry was already mired in scandal after Volkswagen admitted installing software to cheat emissions testing on its diesel engines. If that damaged the Made in Germany brand, these latest allegations may do so as well, though full details are yet to emerge.
German and European competition authorities have launched investigations. Consumer groups are already warning of lawsuits on top of potential fines.
If this is true, tens of thousands of German car owners will be affected. The agreements seem to have gone back years, and this may not only affect the diesel problems, but also involve other agreements, so people have not been getting the car that they were promised.
VW and Daimler executives will reportedly hold separate crisis meetings on Wednesday. Porsche and Audi are yet to comment. BMW has admitted some cooperation, but denies it was illegal. One leading expert warns of potentially far broader consequences.
It's much bigger than Dieselgate because the Dieselgate was only about the diesel and the motor and the environmental impacts, which seems not to be on the right place. But now it's an economy scandal. If this is true, that there was really a cartel, then we have a huge economic scandal, and this could damage the whole German economy.
An economy the German Chancellor sees as an electoral asset. With 2 months of campaigning ahead, Angela Merkel's opponents may just sense an opportunity. Guy Henderson, CGTN, Berlin.
If this could be bigger than Dieselgate, try and wrap your head around that. That's 5 German car brands, BMW, Daimler, Audi, VW, and Porsche. If this is true, that they acted as a cartel, that they actually, and a cartel is when companies get together and they collude to control the market.
Right.
If that's true, then as that last person said, Claudia Kempfert from the German Institute for Economics, she's the auto industry expert. If she's right that it's a cartel and that this could be a huge economic scandal and hurt the whole German economy, we're talking about the German economy, right, folks? Like, it's
a big economy.
All on pollution, all because these companies didn't just go, you know what, let's just switch to EV.
Well, I mean, it's because of collusion about pollution.
No, but what I'm saying is they're all trying to get around. They're all trying to just stick with diesel, stick with gas engines, instead of going, you know what? Wouldn't it be so much simpler? We wouldn't even have to worry about emissions at all if we just switch to EVs.
Right. Okay, first of all, it does bug me that pollution doesn't matter as much as collusion, that this is going to be bigger than Dieselgate. I honestly don't know it should be the pollution part. But, you know, it's not like the car companies have come out and been like, we have reasons why we aren't switching to EV.
Right.
You know, like, it's bad for these reasons. They're just like, it's going to hurt our bottom line and it's going to be bad. Like, they're just whining and complaining about their bottom line because they, for decades and decades, were just like, no electric. We're not going to do that. Ha, ha, ha. Just keep pouring and investing money into our gas engines.
I can't even imagine the thought that goes through your head if you're the head of a company and you're like, let's collude. Let's call
do
my buddy
illegal.
over BMW
Yeah.
and let's talk about how we can get around the law.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know. Let's break some laws. Let's do some crimes.
That would be a lot easier and better for everyone than researching new engine technology.
What the? Oh my God.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
They're going to go out of business, and Tesla's going to buy all their factories, and they're going to make EVs. And if it's not Tesla, it'll be another car company. They're going to make EVs. I swear to God, they're going to freaking bust through. This is going to be awesome.
Yes.
They're getting what's coming to them.
And they don't see it.
It's a reckoning.
Yeah.
It's a reckoning, and it's just going to burst through.
I was reading an article today, and this guy had interviewed with Kodak in 1999, and he went into the interview to get the job, and the interviewer asked him some questions, and the topic of film came up, and the guy said, I just have this new digital camera. This is the future. Film isn't going to last that much longer. And the person looked at him like he had lost his mind. And she was like, film's going to be here for 10 years plus. And he was like, no. He was right. 7 years later, Kodak's gone.
Yep. Good thing he didn't get the job, huh?
Yeah. I'm just saying, it seems impossible to think that VW and all these companies will go under, but their leadership is showing they don't get it. So this is how it works, folks.
Right.
When they don't get it, it's not like they're trying to roll with the punches and pivot. They don't get it. Well, thanks for being our Patreons because we really need you this week and you really support us. I really appreciate your support and you make it just a happy environment for Jesse and I to keep doing this, to get the word out to you guys. So thanks for being there for us.
Thank you so much.